Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Randy, Ragamuffinpiper. And I've got a little story to tell today about a friend I met. I didn't get to know him very long, but a life lesson came out of that friendship, and a memory that I will never forget. And you might be interested in it, so I hope you'll stick around. Here we go.
Welcome back to the 100-acre woods, everybody. I'm Randy, Ragamuffinpiper. Here we are out here. It's about 25 degrees, so we need to make this quick. I got my hot coffee and my Rattray Marlin and some Bill's blend from Country Squire. That's a good blend if you're looking for a mild aromatic. It's a really good blend. You know, some years ago, I met a man and his wife. We used to have a boat, and it was we called it our yacht. It was a 31-foot boat, but we had an older boat, and one day we came to the boat, and on the end of the dock was this humongous yacht. And we're talking millions, right? And we're like, ooh, who's that? You know, that's kind of unusual for where we kept our boat. We were in the blue-collar section. And the next day, I think I was there with my daughter. We used to go up there quite a bit, and we would fish and hang out. And the next day, we met the couple from that boat, and the gentleman was super friendly, super nice, and he invited us to barbecue that night. So we went out there, and my daughter and I, we ate on the boat, and his wife fixed my daughter all kinds of fruity drinks, and we just sat there and talked and had a good time. So I'm going to call him Charles, because I really don't want to put his name out there. So this is kind of a private story from my side to you. A few weeks ago, I was watching a television show. Don't judge me. I was watching Landman, and in there, I'm not going to give it away, but Jerry Jones makes an appearance, and he's talking to one of the characters. And he tells him about when he was younger and his daughter went to college, he would go and visit her because he missed her. He wanted to be around her. He wanted to be with her. And after making several trips to see her, that he decided he needed to be probably doing some business there, and I think she was going to Stanford, so he was in the Bay Area of California, and he bought some acreage, a few lots, and he didn't intend to build homes. He drilled wells, and I think they were gas wells, but so he made quite a bit of money off of those wells, but that's not why he had them. He had them so he could go and spend time with his daughter. They were an excuse, I suppose, to get on the plane and go see her and spend time. In case you're interested and you don't watch the show, I'll put a clip. I'll put a link to a clip right here, and it's in the description, so you can watch just the specific scene I'm talking about where he tells his story. Anyhow, fast forward back to our time on the dock. Charlie and his wife invited us to dinner several times, and while we were there, we got to be good friends over just the course of a few weeks. And he told me, you know, he made most of his money in oil and gas fields. And he got to be good friends with Jerry Jones. And I thought, yeah, you probably did, right? Sure. No, he showed me several items from Jerry. And he said, you know, he was there the day, a few days after Jerry had fired Tom Landry. And that's about as football as we're going to get, all right? So don't worry. But that was a real critical time for Jerry Jones, I suppose. And he was tearful at all the hate mail he was getting for firing such an icon. And he said, you know, it was just an example of how close they were. This was the man that was with him in his office talking about what he was going to do with the Dallas Cowboys. So come back to the docks and me and him sitting there eating a steak. Man, the best steak. Oh my goodness. You would have never thought, just sitting and talking to the guy, that he was a billionaire. I'm pretty sure he was probably pretty close to it. But one of the first nights we were sitting there, he goes, "Yeah, I bought this boat because I found out I have terminal cancer. And I've only got about 6 to 8 months to live, maybe a year. I've tried everything, went to all the experimental drugs, but it's likely not to work." He was telling me about his relationship with his kids and his other family, and how they had always seemed to want something from him. And the kids, I think, were closer to mom and dad than other family and friends. They visited quite often, and he was really trying to repair his relationship with them and make sure that, you know, that they knew that he loved them, and get back to some kind of mom and dad relationship instead of, you know, my millionaire dad relationship. He told me many times how he spent far too much time working and in business meetings and helping politicians and going to balls, dances and parties and fundraisers, instead of going to his kids' volleyball games and, you know, school functions. How much he regretted that. And we talked quite a bit about how he still had time to make up for some of it. And I don't know how I impacted him, whether I did or not, but I mostly just sat there and listened. And one of the last times I saw Charlie, he told me, he says, "I want to thank you for always being here to listen. You never asked me for anything. You never treated me any different than if I was just another guy here on a fishing boat." And I said, "Well, Charlie, I think my friendship with you is more important than what I could get from you. In fact, it's the most important thing I could get from you. It's just the camaraderie and listening and letting you talk and giving you the best advice I know how to give." A few months later, he passed away, and they came and got the boat. Next time we went up there, it was gone, and I had heard from our neighbors he had passed away. In a very short time, he had become a very good friend, and we didn't know that much about each other. You know, I talked sometimes, and mostly I just listened. But he imparted to me a lesson I'll never forget, and that is how much more important your family is, your relationships at home, your friends, than it is to be successful and make money. So much emphasis today is placed on how much money you bring home, how big a house you live in, what kind of car do you drive. Man, someplace it's even, what church do you go to? Oh, you go to that church. Oh my goodness, I could care less. I tell my wife all the time, I'd rather go to church with 50 people who have a genuine love for the Lord and each other than a church of 2,000 people who 99.9% of them I don't know and don't know me. And right along with that, I would rather go to another softball game or a baseball game or a race event, or you name it, a band concert. I'd rather go to one more of those than spend 1 minute trying to earn more money so I can have a newer car or a bigger house or a new hat. No. I guess the life lesson here is, when you come to those last minutes and last days of your life, you're not going to be wondering, man, I wish I could have made a little bit more money. I could have spent a little more time in the office. I could have put in a few more hours at work. No, you're going to think, I could have spent one more walk with her hand in mine and watched the sunset. I could have got one more hug from my kids. I could have held that grandbaby one more time. I could have went to one more softball game. You're not going to be thinking, man, I could have seen my business cohorts and had one more business meeting. If you are, you need to really readjust your priorities. And that's the life lesson that we're talking about here. Priorities. I hope you take a good look at yours, and I hope they're aligned where they need to be. Faith, family, that's where they need to be. So this is Randy, Ragamuffinpiper. Thanks for dropping in and joining me here in the 100-acre woods. Maybe the best way to make it the best day yet is to hug those kiddos or that spouse tonight. Tell them you love them. If you've got moms and dads, give them a call on the phone or go by and have some coffee with them. They might think you're weird for all of a sudden throwing your arms around them, but I wouldn't hesitate to tell them you love them and take this opportunity to make another memory. Make it the best one yet. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.